Hey, what's going on, my fellow preppers? This is Trigger with the 4th Regiment Preppers out in Arizona, and as promised, I finally got some time to sit down and do a quick review in regards to what primary weapon I would like to utilize in a WROL, okay? There's a lot of debate going on right now about what's a good weapon, what's not a good weapon, and you know, I've been following this debate. It's very fluid. You got a lot of guys running around with AR-15s, you got a lot of guys running around with AKs. The two predominant semi-automatic firearms that people are grabbing to prep with and just to have in case of WROL. If you guys already got on our YouTube channel, the 4th Regiment Preppers, you've already seen I have a two-part review on the Mosin Nagant series of rifles, both the 9130 and the M44 carbine. If you haven't already seen it, go to our channel, check it out. It has some really good information on it, and I just basically cover why I feel it's still a good rifle, in my opinion, to prep with as far as cost and ammunition availability and whatnot. But this video is going to be predominantly about my opinion and what I've chosen to protect myself and my family in a WROL. And that, gentlemen, is this right here. This is a, need to make sure it's clear. Okay, we're good. This is a Romanian AK-74. I've decided to go with a 74. Not only because it's basically it's an AK. You can't go wrong with an AK. Now I know a lot of the AR guys are gonna look at this video and go, "Oh, come on, Trigger. I mean, dude, really? I mean, the ammo's not really plentiful for that. It's not a common caliber." Well, it is. You can still find lots of 5.45 by 39 for this. This is what this is chambered in. The reason, again, I decided to go with an AK-74 as opposed to an AK-47 or even an AR-15 is a couple things. What really stirred me away from an AR-15 was basically the sheer price, okay? I've seen them as cheap today as $799.99, okay? That's the cheapest I can find an AR-15, brand new. Middle of the road, you're looking at about $1,200 to $1,300, and they go up as high as, I've seen some AR-15 platforms up to about $5,000. You can go on a lot of gun sites, and you can go onto a lot of just various sites all over the internet showing these guns, and they're out of my price range. Now, price is important for prepping because unlike, you know, there's a lot of guys like me and Brutus and a lot of the entry-level preppers out there that don't have the money to go spend on an AR-15. I mean, they have to keep the lights on over their head, they got to pay their bills, they got to take care of their families. So obviously, where are your priorities? There's a lot of preppers online that have said it best. I mean, you don't need a $2,000 rifle to get the job done. There's rifles for $100 that'll kill you deader than shit. It doesn't matter. You're dead. So, AK-74, like I said, chambered in 5.45 by 39. It's very similar to the 223 or 5.56 in ballistics. Actually, there's reports out that the 5.45 by 39's ballistics are a tad bit better than the 5.56 round. This rifle was introduced in the early 70s. The AK-74 was designed to replace the AK-47 because the Soviets at the time knew with the 7.62 by 39 being an intermediate round, it's not accurate, the ballistics really are not that good. They saw what the United States and other Western countries were utilizing with the M16 and the 5.56 that they decided to go ahead and up the ante and match us. And this is what they came out with, the AK-74. It first saw service in the mid to late 70s during the Afghan-Soviet War. As a matter of fact, the AK-74 has a very dubious reputation. Some of them call it the demon rifle. Other people call it the poison bullet because the sheer damage that little 5.45 round does is extraordinary. I mean, the wound channels were, it was unheard of for this subsonic round. That's why AK-74s are very viable for a prepping weapon. If I have to, God forbid, engage a hostile with this weapon, they're going down, and there's no question about it. That round, the 5.45 by 39, is designed. It's designed for war. It's designed for combat. It's designed to drop its target. So you can't go wrong with that. Availability of that ammunition. Well, 5.45 by 39 is not as common and domestic as, say, 223 Remington, 5.56, or 7.62 by 39. You'll find a lot more 7.62 by 39 on the market as far as Winchester, Hornady, all these other local domestic companies making that ammunition. They'll do it. 545, however, is still very cheap, and there's still a ton of surplus 545 by 39 on the market, okay? I've seen tens of 1,080 rounds recently, a couple days ago online, going for a little over $100 bucks. That's not a bad deal for 1,080 rounds. As basically as this weapon looks, I mean, anybody can see this. I mean, it's got a little bit of modification to it. You know, when I first picked up this rifle, it had the standard wood stock, Bakelite little pistol grip right here. It had the upper and lower forward handguards that were wood. Wasn't really impressed with that. The wood was really shoddy shape. I could have restored it. I didn't want to because I wanted to make my AK system as lightweight as possible. I was able to go to Tapco USA and actually acquire some nice grips, nice pistol grip for it, and a folding stock to go ahead and lighten up the rifle for my needs. Okay, I like how my rifle folds up like that. I can easily store this as a truck gun. I can easily put it back into my gun safe, and it doesn't take up a lot of room, and it really takes the weight off this rifle. The stock weight of an AK-74 with its wood is about 7.3 pounds. I had this weight, I got this down to about 5.5 pounds. And you know, with a full mag in it, you're probably looking at maybe 6 pounds. But with no mag, dry, with all the furniture, 5.5 pounds. That's really, really light. If I need to run with this, I need the running gun, you know, I don't have a problem with weight as opposed to a big old bolt action or you know, any other kind of weapon system you might want to go with. Very reliable. It's an AK-74. It's basically identical to an AK-47. It's just chambered different for a different round, okay? It still got the same features, the same reliability to it. You can't go wrong with an AK-74 or an AK-47. A lot of people are looking at these rifles like, you know, Trigger, you know, if WROL does happen, you know, what happens when you run out of 545? Our military doesn't use it. Law enforcement doesn't use 545. Well, you're right. But, you know, I have no problem parting with this rifle. If God forbid the worst happens, if I run dry on this rifle, I'm going to throw it down in the dirt, and I'm going to pick up an AR-15. I mean, I'll do what I have to do to survive. It's just right now, like I said, money's tight. We're all prepping. We're all taking care of stuff. I went with something that was a lot better for me to do. I like the reliability. That's the name of the game. It's very reliable. It's an accurate little weapon. No, it has little to no kick at all, so even a woman could fire this thing. I mean, my wife is trained on this for defense, and she's actually a pretty good shot with it. Comes with an accessory rail on the side of the receiver. It's a stamped receiver. That way I can go ahead and enable some optics choices if I want. The iron sights are okay. They're still like an AK-47, though. They're not that accurate, as opposed to an AR-15 setup where those sights will allow you to engage a target at least 500 yards, okay? These right here, I've shot it, the farthest I've got open sights with this, 300 yards. Pretty good for a WROL situation, because that's pretty far. As far as the gruesome combat that may happen with that kind of situation, door-to-door fighting, neighborhood-to-neighborhood fighting, street fighting, all the crazies coming out and rioting, this weapon will perform flawlessly. It will have no problem. Another reason I decided to go with an AK-74 besides an AR-15 setup is because the rifle is very durable. I can take this rifle and throw it in the dirt. I can throw it in the sand. I can throw it in the mud. I can drag it behind me because there's nothing really to screw up on it. I'm not going to be cautious about it like an AR. Again, because I bought this rifle a couple years ago for about 300 bucks. Okay, it's built tough. It's built for combat, and it will serve perfectly well as a home defense weapon for me and my wife and my family, and as a WROL primary if, God forbid, we ever need to go that route. So that's just my opinion. I can, you know, probably later on down I'll do a more in-depth video as far as more of a technical video of the pros and cons of this weapon. But for this basic video right here, this is my choice, it's my opinion. This is the rifle I've chose to run with. It's a very, very, very well thought out and built weapon system. The AK-47s are the most predominant weapons in the world. The AK-74s were built to replace the AK-47, and these are going to be around for a long time in the foreseeable future. There's lots of ammo for them. They're very cheap by today's standards, and they're built very well, and they're built very rugged. This weapon will keep you alive. If you're properly trained how to shoot this and maintain this weapon, this will keep you alive and it will keep your family safe. So that's Trigger. That's just me, Trigger, with the 4th Regiment Preppers out in Arizona. I just wanted to give a quick little overview of it. It's a good weapon. You can't go wrong with it. AKs are, in my opinion, some of the best, some of the finest firearms in the world, and that's just my opinion. If you don't like that, you don't agree with it, tough, okay? You can go stroke your nice little AR-15 and put all your beautiful little $50 lube on it, but when the shit hits the fan, I want something that's going to work, and how can the Russians be wrong, okay? So, AK-74, that's for me, may not be for you. Hopefully I can convince you on some of the features of this. Maybe you'll think about getting one before you go out and spend $1,000+ on an AR-15 little streamer gun. This thing is a mud gun. It's designed for war. It's designed to get it done. AK-74, baby, all the way. Peace out.